What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? Nathan and Alan here. We are your Hill Brothers. And today, we are getting ready to preview a series that hopefully is getting ready to happen, barring weather and all of it that is moving through the Chapel Hill area this weekend. North Carolina, the number one team in the nation, is taking on the Arizona Wildcats, who just got out of the Eugene Regional in a super regional that is bound to be pretty exciting. I do think so myself. North Carolina and Arizona get ready to take off this Friday. I think the game starts at 12, correct? Am I correct?
High noon, baby. Get them 6-shooters
ready. Dude, the 6-shooters are going to be out because North Carolina and Arizona are two teams that are currently red hot right now. North Carolina was able to get through the super regional, or to get through the regional, the Chapel Hill regional, taking on Holy Cross, beating them 4-0, blistering Oklahoma once, getting beat by them the next day, and then going on again on Monday to the game 7 to not come out. I think it was a 10-run difference, 14-4, I believe it was. Carolina is really finding their stride on the batting list. Pitching has been great as of late, of course. And you got to experience some of that live and in person, live and in living color as you went up there. But Arizona went into
game 1 with Oklahoma.
Arizona went into the Eugene Regional up in Oregon. Oregon, being the number one seed in that regional, got bounced out early. I think they got two. Yeah, they got 2 pop. They were done. And Arizona really handled business.
Never saw Oregon.
Yeah,
they played.
They never saw Oregon.
Utah State.
Yeah. They went in there and they took care of business, and they didn't waste no time. They got out of there Sunday. They did not go to the Monday game, and here we are finding our way to Chapel Hill. So, Alan, there is a lot to break down here on both sides, but I think the best way to do it is to start with Arizona. But before we get into it, quick thoughts about this regional coming in, super regional, I should say.
It's going to be interesting. North Carolina. I don't think North Carolina's played Arizona before.
I don't think so.
I think last year North Carolina was matched up with the Arizona regional, but Arizona didn't make it out of that regional. West Virginia made it out of that regional,
which is giving people problems again. Go ahead.
So yeah, I think that's why I'm thinking about the North Carolina Arizona matchup. But Arizona didn't make it out of their regional because Arizona hosted last year, I believe, and was unable to make it out, and West Virginia made it out.
Okay, UNC has played Arizona 5 times. The Wildcats holding a 3-2 advantage. Go ahead.
When's the last time they played?
Hold on a second. I'll look at that. They are tied 1-1 in Chapel Hill. The last time that they wait. I will not be able to see this because you've reached your free article limit, the Charlotte Observer. Subscribe now for $1.99 for the first 3 months. I'm not doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Does anybody even read the newspaper anymore, bro?
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean it's going to be cool. North Carolina doesn't typically see Oklahoma. North Carolina doesn't typically see Holy Cross, Nebraska. We hosted all 3 of those teams in the regional. North Carolina seeing 2 of those. Now Arizona's coming to town. So yeah, I mean, just getting different teams from across the country. You know, different styles of play. Not everybody plays baseball the same way. So yeah, just a different uniform that you don't typically see. You know, when you think North Carolina, Arizona, you're thinking probably basketball,
which would be cool. Hey, quickly to butt in, the last matchup, North Carolina versus Arizona, was in Chapel Hill, and it was on May 19th, 1990. Been a while. 1 year after you were burned.
Yeah, so 35 years since North Carolina's seen Arizona.
That's awesome, though.
So, I mean, this is a team that North Carolina hasn't seen in a long time. I'm excited for it. I'm ready to get, if I could just fast forward to, 11 59 tomorrow, I'd be there.
All right. Well, let's start talking about some Arizona baseball. So, Arizona has been a interesting team throughout the season. They have been they've had some injuries, some of their best players, and they're starting to really catch their stride right now. So, the biggest question is who's going to be on the mound for them starting on Friday. Now, obviously, we don't know that quite yet. They haven't announced that by the time that we're recording this, unless something pops while we're recording this, which would be pretty cool.
Hold on. Let me. I think I can check the Twitter machine.
Well, he can do the reconnaissance on that. But just basing it off of their regional that they had out there in Eugene, it seems to be throughout the season that Owen Kramkowski and Smith Bailey have kind of been their go-tos right now. That and Raul Garazar, I think that's how you say it. Raul Garazar. I think that's exactly how you say his name. I could be butchering it. If I am, I do apologize. But just a couple of stats here on Owen and Smith, top two guys per D1 baseball. Owen Kramkowski, to me, is the guy to look out for. He is a sophomore. He has been credited with 9 wins and 5 losses. Now, his ERA is 4.73. As a pitcher, not too great, to say the least. He has had 82 strikeouts on the season, and I think I'm seeing a. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at Smith Bailey, but just kind of coming off that, Alan, what's your thoughts on Owen?
Man, his stats look about more average, I would guess. I can't say that I've watched any Arizona. Well, I'll take that back. I did watch the last Cal Poly Arizona game. Of course, Arizona looked like world beaters, so I quickly turned it and just because North Carolina had not made it yet when Arizona played their last game against Cal Poly.
Right.
So I was like, "Ooh, this team's good." But let's just reverse. You want to talk pictures? Yeah. They lost to Clemson in the beginning of the season, 16-5.
Yep.
They lost to Louisville, 13-1. Now Louisville did get the series win over us, I do believe. That was part of that 2-4 start. So that's 2 common opponents. Did North Carolina play? No, they played Texas Tech. They did not play Texas A&M.
They played Tech starting of the season. I think A&M came in the overall number 1 seed this year.
Oh yes, they did.
Coming off of last year.
Arizona played Texas Tech at Texas Tech now. This is in late April, so not too long ago.
Right.
About a month ago. Lost to Texas Tech 12-3. They won the Saturday game 2-1. Lost the Sunday game 9-3. Now those are in Lubbock, so that's more common opponents. And I do not. And they just absolutely mashed Cal Poly 14-0 on that Sunday. Utah Valley, they mashed them on Saturday. But the first game against Cal Poly, they won 3-2.
Right.
To win their Big 12 tournament, TCU 2-1. So this team looks like it's streaky. That's how
Yeah.
Is it a good ball club? Sure, it's a good ball club.
When they're hot, it looks like they can be hot as anybody.
Yeah, when they're hot, but when they're hot, and who are they hot against? They're hot against a Utah Valley and a Cal Poly that I don't know. Do you know who Utah Valley and Cal Poly are?
No.
I don't either.
Also, Owen Kramkowski has 15 walks on the season.
That's not a lot. How many innings pitched?
Innings pitched 85.2.
How many strikeouts?
82. Hit by pitch, 8.
Hit 8 pitch rolls. Hit 8 pitch rolls. Let's see. So I'm sure it's going to be a good series. In my mind, what I've seen on paper from Arizona and how I've seen North Carolina. Sorry, God dang it, my bad, Nathan.
Just roll. Just roll.
So what I've seen on paper from Arizona and what I've seen in person from North Carolina, I give North Carolina the edge. And we can get into all the reasons why, because I'm wildly off topic because you want to talk about Owen Kremakowski.
A pitcher that Carolina will face on Saturday.
They're
Friday or
definitely going to. He's 9 wins,
Him and
5
Smith, maybe.
losses, 16 appearances. He started 16 games. 101 hits, 54 runs against, 45 earned runs, 15 walks, 82 strikeouts. Now that's not a bad. I mean that's not terrible. 82 Ks to 15 walks. So he's in the zone.
Yeah.
But the interesting part is opposing teams are batting 280, so almost 300 against him.
Yeah.
So he's hittable. I don't advance pitching. Oh no, can't look at advanced pitching because I don't subscribe to D1.
Right. Now let's switch it over to Smith Bailey. Smith Bailey, he's the freshman. He's the young up and comer. He's credited with 3 wins, 3 losses, an ERA of 3.97, so a little bit better than Owen, almost a percent better than Owen. Innings pitched 77 on the dot. He has 80 hits, 35 runs, earned runs 34. He has walked 27 people, and he's had 72 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's hit 4 people on a pitch, and teams are batting 268 on him. These right now are your top 2 guys that Carolina's going to see outside of Raul Garazar, and I think I'm still saying that right, as the senior. Quickly, he's an ERA 2.54. He's pitched 56.2 innings, 47 hits, 21 runs, 16 earned runs, 16 walks, 45 strikeouts, 8 pitchers or 8 batters hit, and people are batting a 225 on him. I think that's going to be your top 3 guys that you're going to meet throughout this weekend.
This is what's interesting to me about Smith Bailey. He has 3 wins. He is accredited with 3 wins and 3 losses. His ERA is 3.97. He has appeared in 16 games. He has started 16 games. So out of those 16 games, he's only accredited with 3 wins and 3 losses. So 10 of those games that he has started in, either he didn't last long enough to get the decision, or when he came out of the game, they were either tied or they were losing.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get the decision. If you're losing when you come out of the game, obviously you don't get credited for the win. If Arizona comes back and wins the game, and if you're tied, it's a no decision. And I don't see a stat where it says averaged innings pitched. So 16.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That's an interesting stat to me, because he's only got a decision in his 6 games out of the 16 that he's pitched.
Right. So I mean, it on paper, considering our batting lineup, and we're gonna get to Arizona's really quickly as well. The one that has been pretty consistent with them throughout the regional. Obviously, the stuff may change, but even looking at towards the late part of their season, their batting lineup is somewhat basically the same. But considering our hitters, how our batting lineup is, they've went against the best in the country pitching wise on the mound.
North Carolina has, yes.
Yes, North Carolina's done a great job. We saw them struggle a little bit against Holy Cross, but they ultimately got it taken care of. North Carolina has been pretty good on the mound, but as well as we've saw with our pitchers that we have, which I look for them to have some big days starting tomorrow. But I think if we can get up there and set the tone
Mm-hmm.
at the plate,
Yep.
Carolina should be fine in that aspect. Let's quickly take a look at the batting lineups that we have saw pretty consistent through Arizona over their last, let's say about 10 games here. Adonis Guzman being first up, followed by Tommy Splain, Garen Caulfield. He's the guy we're going to look at because he's the number 3 guy. Mason White, Maddox. I cannot say his last name, and I will not butcher it. Easton Brayfogle, Aaron Walton, Brendan Summerhill, who's the guy that we got to keep an eye on, and Andrew Kane. That has been typically what the batting lineup has been. A couple of names have flipped in a couple different spots. There's been other guys that's been added in at times, but pretty much that has been, from what I'm seeing, outside of a TJ Adams appearance and a Gunnar Gale, that has been pretty consistent dating back to the 1st of May. And here we are in, 4 days into, at the time, or 5 days into June. So let's look at the top 3 guys there for that. Adonis Guzman on the plate. I'm really looking at Garen Caulfield. We'll see what he is, but Guzman up on the plate, junior. He's actually their catcher as well.
Mm-hmm.
Third guy, or the first guy up, their catcher being, he's batting a 305, which is good. He has struck out 31 times, been walked 24. He's been hit by a pitch 8 times, got 40 RBIs, 8 home runs on the season. He's earned 39 runs. I'm sorry, and he seems pretty decent. Alan, what's your quick thoughts on him?
It's interesting if that the catcher being the leadoff man. That's
different.
That's different because Easton, what was his name? Easton Carmichael for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He wasn't their leadoff guy, and Carmichael had absolute wheels. He was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I've read / heard about Arizona, they're not a running team. Like they're not going to attempt to steal 10 times in a game. They're,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now I say that and watch them try to just run, but again, I watch them try to run just because I said that. But if they want to try to run, that's fine because Luke Stevenson has an absolute cannon behind the plate, and he is not afraid to let that thing loose either on a back pick to first or throwing it down to second after Aiden Hack spikes or Olin Johnson. Was it Olin Johnson or Aiden Hack?
To kind of give you a little bit of an idea on stolen bases on this team. Aaron Walton has 18. He's the center fielder. As a matter of fact, I saw he's the
he's the lead. I see it.
Yeah, bottom third guy there. He has 18 stolen bases, followed by Brendan Summerhill with 11. So the bottom of the batting lineup, if it holds like it has over the last month, Carolina, if they got some guys, if they get them on base, then we might have some issues there. The next closest guy with stolen bases is Maddox, and I'm not going to say his last name, but Adonis Guzman has 0 on the season. Tommy Splain also 0 on the season. The third man, Garen Caulfield, has 2 on the season. So yeah, not a very like you mentioned, not a very quick guy, but the bottom of the lineup, that's where some quickness is going to be potentially shown.
They're top 3 guys in stolen bases. You add all of their stolen bases up, and it still doesn't add up to the amount of stolen bases that King Kepley has. So they're not going to really look to run, and I
Right.
think they'll really look to run less because Stevenson's behind the plate, and you saw Jake Knapp. He's quick to the plate. We're way off topic. Guzman. Yeah, man. Again, there's nobody on this team that scares me.
What about Brendan Summerhill, the guy that has had injuries but is on his way back up? Because he's kind of he's the guy you kind of hear about a little bit.
He's the was that Summerholt of West Virginia last year that was hurt late in the season and came back?
Yeah.
It feels like this Summerhill, Summerholt, they play 2 different positions, obviously.
Yeah.
But it kind of seems like, if Summerholt could get on track, he's going to be the bat to watch. He really didn't do much. Now, I'm not saying Summerhill might do a lot. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Again, there is nobody on this roster that you look at and be like, yeah, we really have to watch out for this guy. Like, there's not somebody on this roster you look at and be like, we don't want to face him with anybody on base because he has big league power or his contact percentage is just out of the roof or through the roof.
Well, let me ask you a question then. Since it is a series, is there somebody on there that you do think that could be an underdog that could just cause issues?
I will say I'll give that to Mason White. I think Mason White will be Mason White is the Kane Kepley Gallagher mixture. No, he doesn't have the stolen base numbers. He's been hit by 13.
Number 4 on the batting list.
He's got 19 home runs, 70 RBIs. He's been hit 13 times. He's walked 24 times. Now he does have 61 strikeouts, so we'll see. Shortstop. So I mean, yeah, the guy that preferably probably stirs the drink for them is going to be the Mason White. If Arizona wins the series, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's because Mason White will end up being the most outstanding player of the regional.
I like it. I agree with you. The very little that I know about Arizona, again, the team that North Carolina doesn't really.
He's got a 336 batting average, and that's he's played in all 60 games. He's been at the plate 280 times. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I think
he scored 58 runs, hit 80, 17 doubles, 8 triples. So I mean, yeah, he's their guy.
Cool. Yeah, I'm honestly with you there. I think that when I look at the batting lineup, I also like looking at home runs, and they're pretty scattered. Carolina's pretty top heavy when it comes to the home run list. Theirs is pretty evenly distributed, if you will, on that. So I keep an eye on that. Mason White, 19 home runs. He's one of the only 2 people that have double-digit home runs. Him and Aaron Walton with 14. So he's a guy that he can make you pay. He can definitely make you pay, and he's shown that throughout the season. So honestly, I'm gonna second. I'm a second, which is I was gonna say Brendan Summerhill, and he's a guy that I think you probably should keep an eye on. But sure enough, I like the Mason White pick, 4th on the batting list. He's the guy that could get you the grand slam if the first 3 get on the bases. So yeah, he could be a potential problem, but. Let's flip this coin.
Okay.
North Carolina.
Flip it. We're going to
We know
heads.
North Carolina a good bit. We understand who they are and what they are.
Mhm.
Who's having a big series? Is it Gavin Gallagher again? My personal pick going in on the batting side of things, I think Luke Stevenson really gets going this series. I think he, especially with a hittable guys, I think Luke Stevenson is there to make you pay. And he's had, you know, in that regional, in the Chapel Hill regional, he had some issues. He was going through a slump. It was frustrating him a little bit. You go up against Oklahoma 3 times, and you face Kyson, that ace. That was amazing, but Carolina humbled him pretty fast. Everybody else did except for Luke. But I think Luke gets really going in that series.
That's an excellent question because Gallagher is, man, he's just on one right now. He was 13 for 18 in the regional. That is what, a 722 batting average. Had his first triple of his career. I mean, right now it's hard to bet against him for me. But he's in that spot in the lineup. If Luke is not hitting well, you can pitch to him. If there's a base open, you can pitch to Gallagher, but very selectively, like nip at the outside edges of the plate. Don't give him nothing that has to come inside, and definitely don't give him nothing over the inner half. Then behind him, you got Stokely. Me personally, I think I would take my chances and let Stokely beat me right now before I let Gallagher, because Gallagher, the baseball right now has to look like a beach ball to Gavin, because he is just mashing the ball everywhere. It doesn't matter what the pitch is. Me personally, dude, I want to see Kane Capley get started. I mean,
he reeled in 2 home runs the other day. He's had 4 on the season. He reeled in 2 in one game. So
that was Sam Angelo.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. My bad.
Capley, he's almost got double figure triples, and he got on base. No, don't get me wrong. As long as he's on base, that's fine. But a ball in the gap, he's guaranteed a double and probably a triple, and that's your leadoff guy.
And he's dangerous too, because he can find his way from first to third in a heartbeat, stealing bases.
Right. So I mean, it's hard to say you want to see Kepley perform at the plate better, because he's either A, getting walked, or B, getting hit.
Yeah.
He doesn't really expand the strike zone. And but it's hard to say, dude, because there's nobody on this team right now that can't carry North Carolina single-handedly to Omaha. It could be Vandy, it could be Luke. It always can be Gallagher.
Yep.
Stokely can get Stokely's in the middle of the lineup. He can get mind-blowing hot. Tyson Bass has phenomenal power. Madera, all he does is come up clutch in big moments. I mean, we saw it against LSU last year in the regional.
And Sam's getting better.
And Sam is, I think, grabbed the designated hitter spot.
Yeah.
And all Carter French did was get like 2 or 3 base knocks in a row at the end of the Oklahoma game to really put that thing away. So,
and honestly, I like the Gallagher pick, because what I strategically like is that Gallagher is after Madera. And to me, I always say Madera's good for one. He's good for a single. He just seems to always find a way to get that ball just over the infielders, right in between the infielders and the outfielders, and that perfect little sweet spot. He finds a way or shoots the gap in between the shortstop and the second baseman. He just seems to always somehow, some way to do it. And Gallagher's able to come up, and who knows what Gallagher can do. He can either send that thing to the house or even he can put it in good spot.
Power.
Yes, he does.
He hits for contact, and then that contact when he's feeling it just goes 370 feet.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing really different about the swing.
Right.
He's just putting the bat to the ball. And it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really, who do you think's gonna be the big time? I'm just excited to see who it is. Because it's not like last year where Honeycutt had to be the man. Obviously, Gallagher last year was the man against LIU where he hit the walk-off grand slam. But against West Virginia, it fell back to Honeycutt. Honeycutt got us out of the games. But
and Parks Harbor really struggled last year too, or struggled in the regional and super regional, and
right
into the series.
Those bat in North Carolina really relied on the home runs last year.
And they had a lot of them.
North Carolina's power. It was power for North Carolina last year.
Yep.
That's not this team this year, and that's I think that's the joy of this team.
Yeah.
This team can string together 5 singles. You saw them do it against Oklahoma in their first matchup.
It's the 2 out Clemson.
It's the 2 out hitting that just keeps the inning going, keeps the opponent out in the sun, out on the field, running up the pitch counts against the best pitchers in the country. It's not, let's get, hopefully somebody takes a walk or gets a bloop single, and then Vance or Harbor comes up, and we really need them to hit it over the fence, because if they don't hit it over the fence, well, we might not score this inning.
Yeah. And that was a big problem last year.
So that's what makes this team so intriguing, is the fact that 1 through 9, they can hit. It might not be hit for power. It might just be a ground ball that makes its way between short and third, or second and first.
Well, we know that the hitting for North Carolina has been absolutely outstanding, and honestly, anybody can get theirs. Let's quickly talk about pitching, and then we're going to do previews and predictions, or we'll do the predictions part. We done previewed this thing. We done show them what's up. Arizona looks like a team that is fairly streaky, has the ability to get hot, and right now they're getting pretty warm. But Carolina's pitching is going to dictate a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Do our good old boys do you think Knapp? And do you think Knapp's good for another game? Another 9 innings?
I do.
Think he's good? Because he got every out, and then you got Walter. Oh, man, you got Walker. DeCaro, who is playing well. He has his moments.
Cal Poly isn't running out a Ryan Lynch, a Walker McDuffie.
Right.
And Aiden Houck in the championship game on Sunday.
Right.
Cal Poly or Utah State, I'm not sure who they played first. They didn't run out a Jake Knapp or Jason DeCaro on game 1. They didn't.
Right.
Jake Knapp, 13 wins, no losses. Okay? 1.98 ERA.
Yes,
he has appeared in 15 games, started 14 of those. So he has started 14 games and won 13 of them.
Mm-hmm.
2 complete games, one against Florida. Was it Florida State?
I think so.
It was the first game. It was the first game of the Tallahassee series, complete game, and then complete game against Holy Cross.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a
No,
complete
he got
game
the
against Boston College, right? It was
yeah.
Boston
He
College
got
and Holy Cross.
every out except for the last two against Holy Cross, and Walker McDuffie came in and finished that out.
Okay, so yeah, Florida State and Boston College, I suppose. He's pitched 95 and a third innings.
Mm-hmm.
He's only allowed 63 hits, 25 runs, 21 of those are on, has only walked 16 batters, struck out 85.
That's right.
I'm
Dude's
not sure
ridiculous.
Arizona. I'm not sure Arizona has seen a pitcher of that caliber yet.
Yeah. I don't. Considering everybody they faced, I'm really not sure.
Jason
to be honest
DeCaro,
with
3.5 ERA. He's 9-3. Started 15, appeared in 15. He's walked 25 to 70 strikeouts. Allowed 33 runs, 21 of which are earned. Pitched 79 and 2/3. And batting average is 2.38. So
you.
that's pretty solid. That's better than Arizona starters. But wait, we didn't even talk about Jake Knapp's opponent batting average, 1.86.
It's ridiculous, dude. That dude is crazy, dog. And,
I mean,
then
this is
think
what,
about it. If Matthew Mateus is also still on this roster, Jesus Christ.
yeah, dude, it's absolutely the amount of pitchers that North Carolina has accumulated is just it's just a
And
bucket
that's
of
after.
wealth.
That is after losing guys like Dalton Pence last year.
Shea Sprague.
Shea Sprague. I forgot about Shea. Yeah. 100%. Got Folger Boaz back after last year.
Folger is just a matchup dude at this point, and Folger was absolutely disgusting last year until his arm injury in the South Carolina game.
It happened, which is
And nobody, I don't know anybody in the country that has a slider like Walker McDuffie and Ryan Lynch. And I'm not at this point. I'm not even sure whose is better. But I'm gonna ride with Walker McDuffie because he's just that dude. Like when he came in against Oklahoma in the Monday game, he might have thrown like 15 straight sliders and nobody could hit him. And they knew after about 8 of them, you have to know he's throwing the slider because he couldn't land the fastball. Or he couldn't get a strike. He couldn't throw the fastball for a strike. So what could he throw for a strike? The slider.
Right.
But nobody, one person hit it. One person yacked it. Just sit on it and yacked it. One. And pitching, to me, pitching is the greatest equalizer.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Look at Tennessee last year.
I mean, Arkansas, fantastic at the hitting. Dude, they've hit 120 plus home runs this season.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State, absolutely ridiculous at the plate. They didn't score a lot of runs against North Carolina's pitching.
Carolina took what, 4 or 3 out of 4 games with them, including the one in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, the first two from Florida State against the best left-hander in the country,
and not only took it, but destroyed them on the way. Those 2 games.
The second game was run ruled.
Yeah,
the second game was 11-0,
something
11-1.
Yeah, I think it was 11-1.
And then comes to the ACC game, the ACC tournament game, and it's just a heavyweight prize fight. And North Carolina comes up with big hit after big hit there.
Mm-hmm.
Holds that batting that lineup to what, 2 runs? Was it 6-2? I think the final was. And for the most part, Arizona's only scoring 2 or 3 runs against normal competition.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. and it's baseball, and what you think what's going to happen probably hardly ever happens.
Yeah.
You expect a pitcher's duel one day, and it's 10-12. And then the next game, you think, oh, dude, it's going to be whoever scores 15 first. And then the final score is 2-1.
No, I'm with you, man, and that's a perfect segue into predictions because I'll be honest, man. You know, you kind of highlighting this team. Last year, we knew that Carolina was top heavy. Now we knew we had pitchers. We knew we had that. We had that still. We didn't have it as much depth as we have this year, but we still had them, right? But the batting list was definitely top heavy. This year, it's pretty evened out from top to bottom. You know, fairly evened out to say the least. You take for me, and I'll let you have the last word on this. But for me, North Carolina is a team that is not only hot, they're relaxed, they know who they are, and they are exuding the confidence and the experience of a team that says, you know what, it wasn't but maybe a year ago, we done this before, and let's go do it again. And if you're gonna beat us, you're gonna have to beat us in every aspect of the game. I think North Carolina takes care of this in 2 games. I think the first game is probably going to be the closest in between the 2 games. Could I see Arizona coming out and giving North Carolina a run, potentially pushing it to a 3rd game? Yeah, it very well could happen. I'm just going to bank that it's not going to happen. I think Carolina takes care of it in 2 games, and we'll move on. And I'll let you close the show.
Man, Coach Forbes said today that their focus is winning the first game. You win the first game, you're in the driver's seat until you're not. He said in his pre super regional media availability, every pitcher is on the table tomorrow afternoon except Jason DeCara. Everybody except DeCara.
That tells you what
So
you need to know.
You can throw Jake for 5, Ryan for 1, McDuffie for 1, Aiden Houck for 1, Olin Johnson for 1.
He said we're focused on winning the first game, but you know what? We're confident we're going to win the first game, and he's going to close us out in the second.
I mean,
wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge.
It is hard to root against a team. For one, that is D1 baseball's ranked number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
It is your
Can't get
ACC,
a top 4 speed.
It is your ACC tournament champions. And you're trotting out potentially on Friday afternoon the number 1 pitcher, the national pitcher, whatever that award's called, the national pitcher of the year. Jake Knapp is a finalist for the pitcher of the year award, the NCAA's pitcher of the year award.
I voted for him.
Jake Knapp is 13-0. I just don't see Jake Knapp going 13-1. I just don't see it. And then the stalwarts, the amount of horses in the stable, unless Arizona just goes mind-blowing, like meteoric hot at the plate, which obviously is possible, but I don't see that happening. I honestly think North Carolina gets this done in 2. I hope they get it done in 2, get an extra day of rest. But if it doesn't go 2, I don't see how North Carolina loses it in 3.
Yeah.
Because North Carolina just has too many arms at its disposal.
Yep.
Especially if Jake Knapp just goes 7 and North Carolina loses Saturday. Or maybe Jake Knapp goes 7 and the bullpen loses it on Friday, and whatever the case may be. I don't think Arizona has enough arms on Sunday to keep the bats of North Carolina at bay. You're at home. You're going to have the crowd behind you for 2 games, 3 if disaster happens. I just don't see a world in which North Carolina doesn't make Omaha this season.
Right.
Again, you're not playing the sneakily really good Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
You're not in one of them slugfest that's going to be the Arkansas Tennessee super regional. I mean, what a we didn't even talk about that. I mean, we can talk about that if we want, or whatever. That dude, I might tune into that one. I'm definitely going to watch those games. And I think the Florida State, Oregon State, I think that regional is going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've looked at how the 8 teams are seeded for Omaha, but if Florida State makes it, North Carolina makes it, North Carolina has to go to Florida State to make it to the championship, to the championship series for the World Series.
Nice.
So there's always that potential if both of those teams make it. If not, then North Carolina makes it and Oregon State makes it. Well, Oregon State is just the team that beat North Carolina both times in the championship series to keep North Carolina from winning its first national championship when it had ungodly talent.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I cannot. I might have a hard time sleeping tonight. I'm just so excited. And if tickets tickets are like $200-$300.
Mm-hmm.
And if they was not that much, I would be there Saturday.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's
I
going to
would
be a fun
100%
game,
be
dude.
there.
It's going to be a fun series. There won't be a watch party tomorrow, or technically today, if you guys are probably watching this. The day of the first game, unfortunately. Hey, we both got to work. It's a Friday, is what it is. But no problem. Saturday for sure, and also Sunday if needed. There will be a watch party for
Let's hope it's
these
not
games.
needed.
We have absolutely enjoyed doing the watch parties with you guys. It's been a ton of fun. Hopefully you guys will come out Saturday for sure. And we'll have a good time doing that as well. Anyway, hey, let us know what you think down in the comments below. What are your expectations for North Carolina versus Arizona? You guys are more than likely seeing this the day of the first game. Maybe you're watching it after the first game. Maybe we're already right. Maybe we're wrong. Who knows? You let us know down in the comments. And let's get out of here. Alan, it's been fun. I'm looking forward to it. We
So
both
much
have
fun.
pitched the sweep for Carolina to get out of here and knock it out in the super regional. And boy, I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. And as always,
Go Heels.